Hello there friends, welcome back to another episode of Generation Tech. My name is Alan. In one of our recent videos, we took a look at the 10 best bounty hunting ships out there in the galaxy because getting from point A to point B is half the battle for someone in this profession. Today we'll be taking a look at 10 of the best custom weapons used by bounty hunters. We'll be taking a look at a wide array of tools ranging from hand blasters to last resort rocket launchers. This is going to be interesting. When it comes to crude over-the-top destruction and mayhem, Bosk is my go-to bounty hunter. As a Trandoshan, his entire culture was based around hunting and chasing prey. He also had access to a Relby V10 micro-grenade launcher and uses this crazy explosion-generating machine as his primary. Passed down from his father, the Relby V10 was actually just an automatic blaster with a heavy amount of firepower, which also could deliver grenades at the same time. Needless to say, this was not a very surgical tool, but sometimes it fit the job that Bosk needed to do, which was usually to quickly take out entire armies of security personnel. High caliber energy weapons are going to give you a lot more armor penetration, and it's also going to deliver a lot more kinetic force at your target. This translates into you being able to knock your foe off their feet with just one shot. And when it comes to handheld cannons, there's nothing more popular than a Bowcaster. This was an energy weapon that was shaped like a crossbow but functioned like a railgun. It was common for Wookiee bounty hunters like the Black Chrysanthemum to use a Bowcaster because that was a part of his Wookiee heritage. Despite being labeled as a handheld weapon, the Bowcaster was actually pretty heavy for most species. Only larger individuals could really wield this weapon. The bounty hunter Embo was also quite skilled with the Bowcaster and used it in battle against Anakin Skywalker. The more powerful rounds from the weapon were able to keep the powerful Jedi Knight off balance and on the defensive. When you talk about bounty hunters, Asajj Ventress kind of changed the game. For one, she was a Force user, and two, she still had many of the skills and tools she earned from her Sith assassin days. And so no list of best bounty hunter weapons would be complete without Asajj Ventress's two lightsabers. Everything from her lightsaber design and how she fought would come from her own master Count Dooku. An expert in Form 2 of lightsaber combat, Mikasi, otherwise known as the dueling form of lightsaber fighting, this form was all about precise attacks and counterattacks designed to throw an enemy off balance so that the user can take advantage of any openings. Asajj Ventress was able to combine this with dual-wielding proficiency, which actually shored up many of the defensive weaknesses that Form 2 commonly had as well. Asajj Ventress was able to hold her own amongst many of the great duelists, ranging from Obi-Wan Kenobi to Anakin Skywalker to even Count Dooku. Although against Yoda, she didn't really stand much of a chance, but compared to every other bounty hunter, Asajj Ventress was basically in a league of her own. Now, in case you're shopping around for your own lightsaber for some light bounty hunting duty, because in this day and age, everyone has a side gig, why not check out our sponsor for today's video, Ownasaber.com. All of their lightsabers are on sale by 20% until December 20th. Plus, if you use our promo code MEOW, that's all caps, by the way, you'll get another 10% knocked off the price. So act fast before the promotion ends. The bounty hunter Brelard Valance has been through a lot. He actually served in the Imperial military once upon a time alongside Han Solo. He was quite the hero, and as we all know, when you're a hero in the Empire, you usually get blown up and lose limbs in your face. But because Brelard Valance was a hero of the Empire, he was given the best medical care that the Empire could give him. This included a whole suit of cybernetic enhancements, which honestly were probably better than the ones given to Vader at the end of the Clone Wars. For instance, instead of just having regular prosthetic hands, Brelard Valance's arms were turned into weapons. His left hand specifically was turned into a palm blaster. Think Iron Man plus Mega Man hand cannon, and that's what you get. Not only was this a powerful weapon, it could easily be disguised. So even if you do manage to strip Brelard Valance of his weapons, he technically will still be armed. The Jedi were known for having supernatural speed and reflexes and could basically predict where an individual was going to shoot or attack from. This is how they reflected most of the blaster bolts shot at them. Jango Fett, however, was not most people. He was exceptionally skilled with a blaster and generally went into combat wielding a pair of WeStar 34 blasters. They were especially made out of a rare DeLorean alloy which could withstand incredibly high heat. This allowed the WeStar 34 blaster pistol to handle sustained rapid firing for a much longer time. This was actually really important when you were engaging a Jedi in close-range combat. You basically had only a few options here to break their defenses. You could either use something that was unblockable, which we'll talk about later, or just overwhelm their defenses with a sheer number of blaster bolts you drop onto them. Jango Fett was able to take out the very experienced Jedi High Council member and Master Coleman Trebor with his WeStar 34 dual pistols. Next up, we have the Amban Phase Pulse Blaster, or as I like to call it, the War Crime. Old school fans might recognize the shape of this weapon as being similar to what Boba Fett used in the animated segment of the 1978 Star Wars Holiday Special. But we really don't get to see this weapon in action much until the new Mandalorian TV show in the hands of Din Djarin. This was a breech-loaded disruptor sniper rifle. It wasn't all that easy to use and had a very slow firing rate. But it was illegal and highly valuable in most civilized parts of the galaxy for its tendency to completely disintegrate its targets upon impact. The Amban Phase Pulse Blaster also was capable of shocking things with its tuning fork-like appendage. Din used this attachment to convince a gigantic monster not to eat his ship. Now, a lot of weapons utilized by bounty hunters were first designed by Mandalorians who were trying to figure out how to kill Jedi. Before Mandalorians came around, the Sith were really the only ones who dared challenge the Jedi. But when the Mandalorians finally ran into the Jedi and tried to fight them and were defeated time and time again, they went back to the drawing board and tried to learn from their experiences or find some kind of new innovative solution to their problem with fighting the Jedi. One of those problems was that when a Jedi got close to you, you were basically dunskies. And so one of the best ways to stay alive while fighting a Jedi was to create distance between you and your opponent by using your jetpack, which came with many Beskar armor suits. The second way to create space was by using a flamethrower. Now, some Mandalorians will keep some serious firepower stowed away on their jetpack as well in the form of a rocket launcher. Now, this was an awkward system to use as it was fixed onto an individual's back and required the operator to bend over forward in order to aim it into the right direction. But still, it was a great hands-free anti-vehicle, anti-ship, and even anti-Jedi weapon that was useful as a last resort. The droid bounty hunter IG-88 is known for being a walking arsenal. He has many different weapons bolted onto him and even more stored inside of him, but one of his most efficient and useful weapons was the DAS 430 neural inhibitor, which mainly fired non-lethal ammunition in the form of darts. These darts actually had a neurotoxin inside of them which would paralyze the target for up to 10 minutes. Now, a lot of weapons on this list will ultimately help you defeat your bounty, but probably disintegrate or kill them in the process. The DAS 430 neural inhibitor is the only weapon on this list that will guarantee that your target will arrive back alive. Our last weapon is quite primitive. It's a Gaddafi, a simple melee weapon commonly used by the Tusken Raiders of Tatooine. Oftentimes made out of scrap metal and scavenged parts, this weapon was part club, part stabby stick, and was oftentimes coated in sandbat venom, which had paralyzing properties. In the right hands, aka the hands of Boba Fett, it could break right through Stormtrooper armor and cause some real damage at the molecular level, or something. So there you have it, guys. Those are 10 very awesome customized bounty hunter weapons. Let me know in the comment section below which one is your favorite, and also if I've left any of your favorite weapons off of this list. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button down below so you don't miss out on the rest of our awesome content. And as usual, thanks for joining us today. If you're watching this, you are Generation Tech.